One thing I don't understand is why everyone always seems to have trouble with their in-laws. You know what? They're always like, oh no, the in-laws are coming around. I'm great with my in-laws. I must just be very, very lucky in general that, you know, they're not invasive, they're not like rude, they're not anything. It's just great. Like no complaints, you know what I mean? But you do see a lot of people having issues with their in-laws online. And sometimes it can get really intense. I just saw a story recently about somebody getting like paint thrown over them before their wedding day by somebody on the other side of the family, and relationships can go extremely, extremely wrong. I haven't seen any of these videos yet, so I've just been told to talk about in-laws. So let me actually see what is happening. So this is Bree. She's a mum. Oh, and she's a doula as well. Teacher turned doula, mum of two, healing. Huh. And she has a story for us.
Share this and then I'm gonna release it. Because I have been carrying this and holding this and begging for relationships and begging for people to care for almost 4 years. Here it is, the updated what happened with my in-laws, and I am sharing for any of you who have had a similar experience and you have felt so alone. Now I've got my mother and my father-in-law big mad, calling me a liar, saying I bully, saying I'm harassing them. So now, even though God knows I'm sick of telling this story, we gotta air out all the dirty laundry again. So until 2022, when I gave birth to Theo, I genuinely thought that I had lucked out in the realm of in-law relationships. So many people have problems with their in-laws, and I was so grateful to not have issues with my husband's family and to have just gained another family in them. I dip nails with my mother-in-law every week during COVID. We went over there for Sunday dinner for years. We did the family Christmas gift exchange. We were in the family group chat. Tried bras on before at Victoria's Secret with one of my sisters-in-law. Gone thrifting with another one of them and told her all about my dad, my childhood, religion, like very intimate details that I would confide in a friend because I genuinely thought that my sisters-in-law, my mother-in-law, my father-in-law were family. They were friends.
That's the feeling you want, right? You want to feel like you're part of a family, like you all accept each other for whatever you are, whoever you are, whatever situations you are in. Maybe not murder, you know, but
I thought I had gained. So while pregnant with our first baby 4 years ago, we told them that we weren't going to have hospital visitors. We weren't going to let them know when we went to the hospital. We were just going to let them know when we were settled, baby was here, everything was good, etc.
I understand that because when people give birth, everyone's like, let me see this baby right fucking now. It's like, 1 second. I've just given birth. I mean, I don't understand the feeling of giving birth. You know what I'm trying to say. I've just given birth. This may be new for me and my partner. And everybody wants to come in and look at me in this bed, you know, that I've just given birth in, like, straight away. Like, they practically want to pull the baby out. Give people time to relax. Give them time to settle. I know you're excited, but you're going to see that baby the whole rest of your life, you know?
I wanted to focus on my body and on labor. I didn't want any distractions. We did have visitors. Nice. I wanted to space them out so we didn't have one huge giant group of people all at once. And before you say anything, yes, the rules and boundaries were exactly the same for everybody in my family too.
Great.
Okay?
And that's up to you. That is up to you. What you want to do when you give birth, when you do whatever, that is completely up to you.
We found out at my 40-week appointment that I had preeclampsia, and my midwife office had been like negligently not checking the protein in my urine. So I got diagnosed at 40 weeks and the whole plan went out the window. We ended up having to have an induction. Very long. We're in labor and delivery for over 48 hours. I labor unmedicated on Pitocin for a lot of that time. I end up getting an epidural and then still laboring for another 10 hours. Like, baby did not want to come. It was a very long birth, very traumatic, very scary, and I felt awful the whole time.
Well, yeah, I can't imagine it being the most pleasant experience.
Delivery, I'm on like a birth high, okay? Because I just had my baby and I have my epidural, so I'm numb, so I don't feel any of the pain yet, even though I had a 2nd-degree tear when Theo was born. Ooh. Like, feeling better than expected. Let's see if my mother-in-law and my father-in-law want to come to the hospital because we named our son after my father-in-law. That was my idea, BTW.
Oh, wow. Okay. So we wanted. So listen, the relationship is tight. To want to name your child a name you're going to use constantly after your father-in-law and your father, there must be a level of respect there. There must be a level of not necessarily admiration, but a point where you're like, okay, I don't mind saying this name and connecting the two people.
Father-in-law to be the first person that met the baby so we could tell him his name and have this special moment, whatever.
Tears,
so we decided,
happy,
even
happy
though we didn't
times.
want visitors originally, to have my mother-in-law and my father-in-law visit us at the hospital.
Lovely.
This was at like 3-4 hours postpartum after I gave birth. Mother-in-law was also going out of town the following day, and we didn't want to wait like an entire week to tell everyone the baby's name. So that was another reason why we had them come visit, and I genuinely was fine with it. Because I did not know everything that was going on behind my back. They come and it's so special, or so we thought. They both hold our newborn baby. I let my mother-in-law feed our new baby a bottle. We're just getting like crumbs and passive aggression from Brady's sisters and his parents in the following days, and we're like, why are people not more excited about the fact that we just had a baby? So Brady reaches out to his sisters. He's like, what is going on? I feel like the kid in middle school where everyone's like talking about me behind my back, like we just had a baby and it's a really exciting thing. Why are people being so weird? Well, they have this 5-way phone call, my husband and his 4 sisters, where 2 of them, apparently there's this big long list of things that they're mad at me and Brady about that they haven't told us, and how we handled postpartum is the cherry on top. So I'm sitting there just bleeding into an ice diaper, holding our brand new newborn baby, listening to 2 of his sisters talk shit on me and say rude things about me, and the other 2 just like sit there silently and listen. Collins in a completely fake resolution because nobody has any conflict resolution skills. So Brady goes over to his oldest sister's house, the sister that we're closest to and friends with, and he's like, what is happening? Like, what is going on? Why are people being so odd? What was that conversation? And she practically explodes, and she finally is like, nobody likes Bree.
What?
This is a sister-in-law that I am friends with. I am friends with her. I have told her details about my life that very few other people know.
But
and she
why?
proceeds to go off about how I'm
Where did this come
manipulative, I've
from?
got him wrapped around my finger, I'm entitled, I've convinced him to walk away from his family. A couple months before we had gotten pregnant with Theo.
How is naming your child after your father-in-law convincing that person to walk away from their family?
On a family vacation with Brady's family, and the sister in this conversation is like, how could you not read the room in Lake Tahoe and not tell that no one wanted her there? It was bad. She's like, I don't know why she thought she could tell me anything. Because we were friends, because we were family, because I trusted you. I did not have any knowledge or understanding the level at which my sisters-in-law and my mother-in-law had been talking about me for so long.
Shit.
And
Oh my God,
I
what
had to
horrible
find
feeling.
out 4 days postpartum with a 2nd-degree tear bleeding into an ice diaper, trying to figure out motherhood for the first time. I will never forget how that felt. Brady coming home and telling me, the whole family doesn't like you, apparently, and that's why they've been...
God, imagine doing that. Could you do that? Could you tell your partner, if your family didn't like them, oh yeah, my whole family doesn't, I don't think I could do it. It's just to protect their feelings a little bit.
so unkind and not supportive and like weird about all of our rules and boundaries postpartum. It's because they don't like me. I'll never forget how it felt to realize that she had been two-faced and had been my friend to my face, but had been behind my back talking shit with her sisters for years. So then even more information comes out. They're mad that we turned our locations off 2 weeks before we had our babies, so they couldn't stalk us when we went to the hospital.
But I do not understand why people think that someone giving birth is their deal. It is the deal of the couple who is having the baby. You are invited to join in that deal, that situation, when you are invited to do so. You should know giving birth, if you have given birth, may not be the most peaceful, amazing experience, and that you're not going to want people there all the time. Let people live their own fucking lives the way they want to. If they do not want to see people after going through this, 24 hours of labor, 48 hours of labor, is that a thing? I don't even know. Tearing their body. God forbid they do not want to see you 2 or 3 hours after the situation happens. And I'm not just talking about this situation, this happens a lot. Give people space and time. Why are you so arrogant that you think it is up to you when you see this newborn baby? Come on now, I know you're excited, but relax, because you're damaging relationships
Angry that we
with
didn't
this shit.
tell them when we went to the hospital. They were angry that they didn't get updates during labor. My sisters-in-law were angry that only my mother-in-law and my father-in-law got to visit at the hospital because nobody else got closure. They're mad that they were not invited to be in the room 10
Grow
minutes
up.
after I gave birth, because
Grow up.
I had people in my delivery room 10 minutes after I gave birth, so why
So
did
that's
she get to
you.
do that?
That's you. That's what you wanted. How do you get this far in life and not realize that people are all different and people want different things and how to respect people's boundaries?
Then they asked and were angry when Brady said no to taking our newborn baby out of labor and delivery down to the hospital lobby so everyone could meet the baby without me there. He couldn't even leave the floor. He had an anklet that would have sounded.
Why would you do that?
My mother-in-law was upset that Brady sent the first picture of our son to his dad and not her. Because we named the baby after my father-in-law, my husband just wanted a special moment with his dad, and that got taken from him and ruined. That we stretched out visitors at home and we didn't have everybody all at once. They were basically just mad that we did it differently than they did it, and they cannot fathom in their heads that we just did it differently because we wanted to and that was what was best for us. And not because we were trying to push them out. Again, both myself and Brady thought that we had a loving, wonderful family, and we had no idea what was going on. So yeah, if I was on here being like, my mother-in-law wanted to watch me give birth and she wouldn't leave me alone about it, and she still is insistent that she got to watch me give birth, that would be a lie. Yeah, because that didn't happen. All that other shit happened, though, instead, okay? My mother-in-law did not want to watch me give birth. Let's just clarify that. Everything else that happened, though, is just as severe of boundary crossing and disrespect than insisting on watching someone give birth, okay?
It's crazy.
Nothing we wanted was respected, nothing was honored, nothing was valued at all. And they were mad about us using postpartum preeclampsia as an excuse to not have visitors, and we can't do that because we were already not planning on having
I just don't understand how people can be so selfish and so weird enough to be like, oh my gosh, you're not letting me see your child when I want to. Hold out for a week or two. You're gonna see that baby your whole life, and trust me, if you're an in-law, you're gonna be looking after that baby a lot. So relax, chill the fuck out. Let people have this moment that has completely changed their lives, physically, body-wise, mentally too, and their life in general. Because that kid's about to be annoying until they're 18 or even until they're 30. So come on. Come on.
Visitors. Like, they genuinely had no care, no regard for how sick I was and how sick I felt. I ended up going to the hospital at 3 days postpartum to the emergency room because of postpartum preeclampsia too. I was so sick and everyone was just pissed that they didn't get to see the baby. Meanwhile, they think I'm just orchestrating this whole thing. I'm manipulative. My husband has no mind of his own. I'm controlling him. He can't make any of his own choices. Also, mind you that all of this stuff is happening, all these like insisting that they be there, after everyone had literally just been at a COVID super spreader event the day before I gave birth.
Well, there you go.
So it's a good thing no one came and I didn't allow anyone to come.
Yeah,
in fact, the only thing I should be hearing back is good job. And that was probably smart of you to not have visitors, since literally everyone was sick with COVID. Bye. So then it gets worse. It gets worse, unfortunately, because over the next 3.5 years of trying to speak to my mother-in-law about what happened and try and fix it, I find out all this other stuff that the family is mad at us for. And my mother-in-law tells me, because she's been having all these conversations with the sisters-in-law about me behind my back. Oh yeah, come back for part 2.
Okay, so she thinks she has this great relationship with her family, in-laws. Tells them all her life history, you know, like this was my life, this is the bad points, the good points, the highs and the lows. She thinks they have a great relationship to a point where they even name the baby after the father-in-law. When she gives birth, after she gives birth, she finds out everyone's talking shit about her.
After the postpartum stuff happens, we find out all these other things that my mother-in-law, my sisters-in-law are mad at me and Brady for, because my mother-in-law tells me about all these conversations she's had about me behind my back and about Brady behind his back. They're mad we eloped. They're mad that we stayed in the same hotel room before we were married, because what was everyone going to tell their children, and that put everyone in such a bad spot.
Wait, I'm sorry. Oh my god, what is it? The 1800s? Why do you have to be so involved in people's lives? I don't have a child. I get it. If I did, would I like to be at their wedding? Sure. Would I like to? No, I don't give a shit about giving birth. But if someone decides to do something that makes them happy, get a grip and let it happen. Get a grip and let it happen. Like, it's not that serious. You want to be part of their wedding celebration? Take them out for a meal when they get home to celebrate. You know what I mean? The thing with a wedding is the bride and groom are going to have to pay for your evening at their wedding. They're going to have to pay for your food. They're going to have to pay for a place to celebrate in. A DJ maybe. Something like this. Something like this. They are going to have to pay for that. If you would expect them to have a whole wedding, are you going to pay for it? Because that's what you want them to do? No, come on now. The money that people spend on weddings could be spent on a house deposit a lot of the time.
Spot. For instance, my husband's family is in fact Mormon, and he was literally
Surprise.
told to find a good Mormon girl that could take him to the temple. So, not me. We're mad because not everyone likes to spend all their free time with their spouse. So because some of the sisters-in-law are insecure about their own relationships, that's a valid reason to
Oh,
just treat somebody terribly postpartum and be fake to them and gossip about them behind their backs. Cool. Angry that I was working part-time while pregnant because that must mean that I'm taking advantage of my husband. We're angry that we didn't move into
what?
the house right
How does
in
that make
between
sense?
my mother-in-law and my sister-in-law, and they blamed me for that decision, saying I manipulated my husband, when really it was me that was willing to move into the house, and Brady that was like, no, I'm not living next to my mom. But of course, I got blamed for that, called manipulative, said I'm being controlling. Not even close to what happened. That Brady took multiple weeks of leave because most moms just figure it out, and I had my baby on Friday and he was back to work on Monday, and that's just what you do. Finding all of this out during postpartum, it makes becoming a mom for the first time so much more stressful and
Oh
awful because I
yeah.
now have to grieve the relationships that I thought I had with my sisters-in-law, because I genuinely thought I had gained sisters
I hope she has a side of her family that are really supportive, you
in my
know?
sisters-in-law, not petty women who all they can manage to do is talk behind my back and judge my choices. At this
Yeah.
point, we are also living and renting from my sister-in-law, the one that I've thought I've
Oh.
been friends with this whole freaking time, the one who's been lying to me and building a fake relationship while talking shit behind my back. And even worse, because she tells the whole family that we literally asked her to buy this house for us that we're living in when we thought we had gone into renting the house from them as like a mutual real estate venture situation. She tells the family that we asked her to use her reserved savings for her child on buying a house for us. And I genuinely think that that's how she had to frame it to her husband. That is a whole other story. And all I have to say about it is that I have so much empathy for her, even still. Even
Don't enter into business agreements with your family. Don't do it.
with how she has treated me. After the five-way call, Brady goes over to his one sister's house. Then he calls all his other sisters and he's like, is this true? What Sister A said? Like, is this actually true? And one of his sisters goes, the reason why Sister A is saying that is because she's jealous. So all the pieces start to click in
So then why has no one said anything? Why did no one on that call be like, no, we don't believe
my
this?
head once this sister says this on the phone to Brady. Something else that they were mad about was how we called our newborn son perfect. And the only thing I have to say about that is that I think all children are perfect, regardless of if
What?
they're different from other kids or not. That says a lot about you if you don't think that, and that is just frankly embarrassing, especially
Why would you be angry that a parent of a child called their newborn perfect? That's don't is that not like, oh my god, they're perfect? Like, why would you not? You'd be like, oh my god, everyone, here's my average newborn baby. Yeah, yeah, just average. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, even if you do think that, everyone's like, why would you be mad that they love their child? That's
if it's
crazy.
your own child that you don't think is perfect. So
Sure,
I'll keep calling my child
exactly.
perfect, my children perfect, and every other newborn baby that I see be born, because all
Okay, but don't get delusional. You know, if they become an annoying little toddler and they're like destructive, then you need to let that go.
children are perfect. Okay? I don't
That's
really
not.
care if that's unfair to the other children in the family. Again, that says so much more about you, and I have
Wait,
seen
but
more
why
babies
does that matter? Why does that matter? Why would it be you calling your child perfect? I mean, it's unfair to everyone else in the family. These people need to get a grip.
be born than any of the women in this family by now, and I can tell you with my whole chest that every baby born is perfect. Then in postpartum, we have to move, we have to figure out a new living situation, to try and figure out living in a place that's not owned by someone who secretly hates me and wants to talk shit about me
Right,
all the
that's
time. It's been a
awkward.
trend in the family. It has been normal and acceptable to triangulate and gossip about the other members of the family, even well before I was even involved in this family at all. This has been happening since well before I was introduced to the family. Brady's mom has been triangulating with him and other adults in his life for decades. Another way that I just know I'm not wrong in this is, since sharing the truth on social media, I've had multiple people reach out to me and tell me that they had a very similar experience with my mother-in-law, in a neighborhood
Oh,
capacity, in a ward capacity, in Relief Society, gossiping about them behind their back. So it's, my mother-in-law is the way that she is, and she taught her daughters to be that way too, unfortunately. We had a whole other baby in January of 2025. We didn't tell them the due date. They didn't even meet him until he was 3 weeks old. We had to set extremely strict boundaries with them so they would not ruin another postpartum for me.
Literally, like, yeah, make it
I was trying to
tighter.
talk to my mother-in-law and get her to like comprehend that what she and her daughters did during my postpartum was so out of line and not okay,
Yeah.
and it needs to be acknowledged and fixed. August of
Yeah.
last year in 2025, I absolutely gave up, and my mother-in-law is now blocked because in that last conversation that I had with her, she goes, "What did they even say to you? What did they even do to you?" Referring to her daughters. And I'm like, "You will not lie and twist the reality of what happened, gaslight me and pretend that nothing happened when I have been hurt worse by your daughters than anyone else. I was betrayed. Brady was betrayed. The relationships that we thought were real and healthy and good and genuine that we had built over years were fake." He's like, "Well, how did you know that I talked about you? How did you know that those conversations exist?" So mad about social media. Both my father-in-law and my mother-in-law are both so mad about social media that finally in August I got my mother-in-law to like show her true colors to me. And it was what I needed to see. I needed to know how she really felt about me. I needed her to be just like so rude and gaslighting and unkind to my face in front of my child for me to like clock how bad it was. No, it's been said because you've told me. You've spent the last 3.5 years telling me about all these conversations that you've had about me behind my back. That's how I know. You're not going to pretend that you never
Yeah.
had those conversations now and you
And all the sisters as well were like, oh, the whole family hates you. So,
don't gossip. August conversation, all that gaslighting stuff happens, plus I'm told that I'm tearing her family apart. What am I supposed to say when people ask me about your TikTok in public? Am I just supposed to say I don't know because that's what I do? I'm like, no, you're supposed to say that you and your husband and your daughters absolutely failed your daughter-in-law and your son when they had their first baby.
yeah. It'd be like, oh, sorry, my whole family were dickheads.
Because you gossip and triangulate and judge other people's choices endlessly. Your daughter-in-law believes that people deserve to be treated with common decency, and she will not just sweep all your shit under the rug. Just won't
That's
pretend
it.
that nothing ever happened. I'm not going to show up to family events and family things and just pretend like nothing happened. It's not like we're even welcome at family things because the sisters will not face me. They will not talk to me. They will not show up where I am in public because all they do is stalk me on social media, see that I'm very open and honest about what has transpired, and I would say all of this shit to their face, which they know. Give up after the August conversation. I had to give up with my mother-in-law because she's like, it's like you want us to admit that we were wrong. It's like you want us to just like
Yes.
say
If you were wrong and you're adults and you've treated someone badly, what you do as a normal sound of mind person is apologize and say, you could even say, we might not get on, but for the point of our, but for the, the love of our family, let's try. Let's make an effort to do so.
that we were wrong and admit that. Like, yes,
Yes.
yes, because simply just saying sorry, the words I'm sorry, and not recognizing that your behavior was in fact not okay, that is in fact what you need to do. Oh my God. That same August conversation, in the same breath that she tells me I'm tearing her family apart, she tells me that she wants to babysit our kids and then is offended when I'm like, you will never be watching our children. Never. She's offended by that.
This is that thing. It's that entitlement to your children. If you are a grandparent and you are disrespectful to the parents of your grandchildren, do not think that you can be trusted around these kids. You will make snide comments. You will say things. You will act disrespectfully, and it will show. The children will know. Absolutely not. You don't deserve that reward. I'm saying in quotes.
In the same conversation, after we have talked at length about how she gossips and triangulates and how she needs to stop, and she's like, well, how do you know that happened? She tells me about a conversation she's had most recently with the last sister that we were talking to, the only sister that's met our second baby. And she's like, the family just feels, and the sister just feels like the only reason why you want to come over to her house is so you can have someone to watch your kids and so you can like have something for your kids to do.
What?
So I'm like, cool, nothing's changed. You're still gossiping, still triangulating. This sister has never even babysat our kids. You've never babysat our kids. This
That's what
sister
they're
hasn't
talking
even
about.
held my baby. Okay? I think I'm on my last half page of notes. So come back for part 3, the final. Okay, so same August conversation where I'm told I'm tearing apart the family, conversation where I'm like, okay, I have to block my mother-in-law because all she does is gaslight me and like try to pretend that none of this existed. The thing that she said to me in that conversation, she looks at me and she goes, well, we all know what happened with your mother. We all know what happened with your dad and how you don't talk to them anymore and you didn't talk to your mom for a while and now I'm the one on the outs. Yeah, I didn't talk to my dad. He's emotionally and physically abusive and won't take accountability and won't recognize how difficult that makes parenting. I didn't talk to my mom for a long time because she crossed boundaries as well.
She would have told this to one of her sister-in-laws, and she obviously told her mum. So why is that her? Why is she saying it like it's a bad thing? We all know you don't speak to your parents because they were abusive, and you're acting like that's something that is a negative, that she doesn't speak to them. Too right, she doesn't fucking speak to them or doesn't communicate with them.
I am not afraid to block anyone, and I will
Yeah,
only
fuck
allow
it.
people in my life that are kind, respectful, and treat me with common decency.
Good for
I'd
you.
love to hear about how me not talking to you and me demanding accountability and change, and it's all my fault because all I do is just block people and push people out of my life.
Wild.
That's what you were trying to say. That's what she was trying to say in that conversation. Inner child healing and repair are actually requirements to have a relationship with me and my children because I am breaking every cycle. I am not
Good for
allowing
you.
toxic
Good for you. Good for you. It seems like the other side of the family are allowing this cycle of just like hating on each other to go on and on and on.
cycles to perpetuate from my dad and my in-laws. There's in what fucking universe?
Right, and that's exactly what I meant. Was it she lets her in-laws look after this kid? It's this cycle's gonna happen.
Family problems need to be solved. There are decades worth of problems between my mother-in-law and her children that have nothing to do with me. Like I was literally not even born yet when all these problems were starting, when my mother-in-law was parenting her toddlers, okay? So much of this has nothing to even do with me. Well, I did the best I could, or well, I tried the hardest that I could have, or we didn't have books or the internet back then to help us with parenting. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. And if you have that
Yeah.
attitude, you're not going to have genuine relationships with your children. That is just facts at this
Yeah.
point. No, parenting in a regulated way, in addition to all of the shit that happened postpartum and afterwards, parenting in a regulated way is 100% made harder for me because of my dad, 100% made harder for Brady because of his parents and how they parented him. Call me a liar again, and maybe I should start talking about all the things that Brady actually experienced in his childhood
Do it.
that are reasons why my in-laws do not watch my children.
Oh.
Push me a little further, please. I'm
Oh.
scared
That was a warning. That was a warning.
of calling anyone out. I have already had these hard conversations with my own parents, with my mom and my dad, and I have watched my dad hide from accountability, run from change, and forego relationships with his children. And then I've seen my mom and my stepdad do the very hard work to actually heal, acknowledge where they could have done better, and actually have real, genuine relationships with their children and grandchildren. No, I'm not actually just going to shut the fuck up because I know what real and genuine and good relationships are because I have them with other people in my family. So there's not a chance that I'm just going to be like, oh yeah, that's just how my in-laws are. They've always
Right.
been that way.
It gets to a point where you're a grown adult. There's a point where you don't let people disrespect you, and if they do, you have no respect for them. Why do you need them in your life?
Problems have persisted forever. No. Fix your shit or you will not see me and my children, and that is it. Honestly,
love
at this
this.
point,
I
like
love
so much
her.
has happened, I am kind of foregoing the relationships. I have no intention of ever letting my in-laws see my sons ever again. And even if they do get to the point where they can take responsibility and accountability, it's going to be a long time before I allow my
100%.
children to
Earn that
be around
trade,
them
earn that
because
trust.
of everything that's happened. I see my mom especially taking accountability, never gossiping, never turning her children against each other, never triangulating, always having the hard conversations, always self-reflecting. Even when I was a child, she always repaired, always apologized when she got super dysregulated or hurt me or said something that was unkind. You're going to be someone that I respect, that my children respect, and that Brady respects, or you're not going to be an influence in our children's life. I don't know what the fuck to tell you. But competition has been created because my in-laws did such a bad job at being genuinely unconditionally loving and supportive, so they have made themselves the losers
Yeah.
in the grandparent competition.
Yeah.
They created the competition and then make themselves the losers over and over again. finally forced me to block my mother-in-law was her texting me after she left, after she said those things about my mom and dad and me and implying that this whole thing is somehow my fault. She texts me and she goes, Bree, I know that my comment about your parents maybe offended you, and I just wanted you to know that I take solace in the fact that you've repaired relationships with your parents, and I hope that we can do that eventually for us. Girl, that's not what you said. What you said was, well, we all know what happened with your mom and your dad and how you did.
It was blaming her almost. It was like, well, it's your fault that you don't accept these negative things that happened with you from your parents, and it's your fault that there's a broken relationship. That's absolutely not the
Talk to
truth.
your dad and how you didn't talk to your mom for a while, and now I'm the one on the outs. Then I learned what the acronym DARVO means, and I realized that my mother
Deny, attack, reverse, victim, offender.
is the queen of DARVO. Deny, attack, reverse, victim, offender. It's a small scale with like what was actually said and done during my postpartum, but she does it large scale too. I never did that and I never said that, and it's Bree who's lying and tearing my family apart and talking bad about me on social media and saying all these mean, awful things about me on social media. That is DARVO.
That's DARVO.
That is DARVO, fam.
DARVO.
They're so mad that I used what they did to me to become more confident and more sure of myself and steadier and louder. When what they wanted me to do was shut up and conform, and they would not have been happy unless I shut it up and conformed. I got birth and postpartum doula certifications, so I help dozens of moms in real life deal with their very problematic in-laws and have the births and postpartum that they deserve.
It's so crazy.
Share what's been said to me and done to me online because I am allowed to share what has been said to me and done to me online. But I share because I've helped myself and I have helped hundreds, if not thousands, of other moms across the country. Okay? Repeating what has been said to me and done to me is not tearing apart the family or talking bad about you or talking bad about the family. It is literally just repeating what has been said and done to me. If you want your actions and your words to make you look better, then maybe have better words and actions.
That's it. If you're just stating fact and saying what exactly has happened and you don't like it because you think it's making you look bad, perhaps what you have done is bad.
I'm not making you look bad. Your words and your actions make you look bad.
You
I'll be
bear
called
your
a liar
own.
when I have absolutely been put through the ringer by this family, and I do not lie. I take accountability always when I have hurt someone or done something wrong. I will not be silent, I will not be gaslit, and I will not let the facts be distorted and twisted because people cannot take accountability and have actual self-reflection. Unless I am the problem for everything and the reason for everything, and that's just simply because it is easier to make the daughter-in-law, the only one in the family, the scapegoat for all the family problems, instead of like actually my mother-in-law looking at her relationships with her children.
Yeah.
Recently, my father-in-law told Brady that the reason why Brady doesn't ask for help from his family and doesn't want to see them is because I don't want him to have a relationship with his family, and I'm trying to keep Brady away from his family. I hope beyond everything that this family is able to solve their shit and fix their shit. Do I actually think that you're going to be able to? No, I don't.
Yeah, it's kind of got to this point now where everyone's telling each other exactly how they feel. They're pissed off, they're tired of each other. She knows that his family seem like assholes. And you're always going to have that in your mind. You're always going to have that in the back of your mind.
Because of what I have seen. But it's not my fault that Brady, a 38-year-old man, doesn't want to go to his family for help. Perhaps that has something to do with you parenting him. IDK, food for thought. Sorry, had to turn a light on. My mom did in fact tell me that if they want to paint me as a villain, then I should just rock the horns. I don't sweep shit under rugs. If you want a relationship with me, it's a real one and a genuine one, or it's not one at all. I'll not be part of a family and have my children be part of a family just for the name of having a family when all that family does is treat their members unkindly, rudely, and gossips and triangulates. Like, bye. No. See ya. So much unresolved hurt and so many unresolved issues that the parents started creating like 10 plus years before I was even born, that I'm genuinely done trying to convince people or talk to people about how they should treat me, how they should talk about me. Like, those are not things that you actually should have to say to people, especially family. Recently, even though my mother-in-law is blocked, she went and decided it would be a good idea to visit one of my family members that call me a liar and try and bitch about me to this family member. It's a good thing this family member is strong and can stand up for me and loves me and supports me always, because they know all the details of everything that's gone on. So they're like, no, I'm actually very proud of her for doing what she's doing. How strange of you to come and talk to me in the middle of a workday in public and try and talk shit about Brie.
Yeah,
What? The
that's
same
fucking
breath,
weird.
even to my family, my mother-in-law is like dripping with sugar sometimes when she talks about me. If you push her enough, she'll kind of crack and like you can see how she really feels about me. But if you just randomly meet her on the street, she's gonna tell you that I'm an amazing mom, amazing person, wonderful, la 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 la. But it is unfortunately all fake.
Oh my gosh. Draining. Poor lady. That must be absolutely horrendous. Those crazy relationships, family relationships. I just consider myself very, very, very lucky because that's wild. Okay, let me know your opinions down below. Are you comfortable sharing how your relationship is with your in-laws, the other side of a family? Let me know. Subscribe if you haven't already. Give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you very, very soon. Bye.